If you thought the ocean seemed warmer this summer, well, you're right. Throughout eastern Canada, the Atlantic experienced what's known as a marine heat wave. These are periods of unusually warm temperatures in the ocean. It is defined as 5 or more consecutive days when surface waters are in the uppermost 10% of historical averages. Satellites have measured the sea surface in the Atlantic since 1982. This year they recorded levels never seen before along Canada's Atlantic continental shelf and Gulf of St. Lawrence. In September, Canada reported the Atlantic marine heat wave to the World Meteorological Organization, a United Nations agency that tracks extreme weather around the planet. The data was compiled by Peter Galbraith, a fisheries and oceans climate scientist based in Quebec.
But in terms of what we have reported, it's unprecedented. We just don't have anything close to that in our data record.
Galbraith averaged the temperatures from the Scotian Shelf, Gulf of St. Lawrence, the Newfoundland Shelf, and the Labrador Shelf. In July, temperatures were the warmest ever recorded, from 2 to 4 degrees above normal. Off Newfoundland's Flemish Cap, it was 6.7 degrees higher.
Anything over like 1 degree C is already off normal. So 6.5 degrees it's the largest single weekly anomaly for a fairly large area in the whole satellite record for Eastern Canadian waters. So I was surprised by the spatial extent of it. Usually, often part of the Atlantic zone is warm, but not all of it. And this was spreading across the whole zone. And often you'll see a peak. You know, the sea surface temperatures could be above normal and 1 week, and just a few weeks later be below normal, just with weather systems going through. So to have that at record levels over 3 whole weeks and then remaining really high for a fourth, it was actually my first time seeing that at the scale of the Atlantic zone for such a long time.
It's not just the Atlantic. Canada also reported an ongoing marine heat wave in British Columbia this summer. When it peaked in early August, the marine heat wave covered 90% of Canada's 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone in the Pacific. So what does this mean for the ecosystem? Marine heat waves have been linked to devastating effects like algal blooms and coral bleaching. However, a paper published in the science journal Nature this summer contained some good news. It looked at data from scientific bottom trawl surveys in North America and Europe from 1993 to 2019, which included more than 200 marine heat waves. Bottom-dwelling fish were surprisingly resilient. In general, after a marine heat wave, populations returned to normal ranges. It was an encouraging result, but the authors say we need to put a lid on global warming. In the meantime, in Canada's Atlantic Ocean, the recent warming trend continues. 2021 broke records, and last year was the warmest ever, seeing highs throughout the water column. And this summer's marine heat wave was big enough that it may drive up the overall average temperature for 2023. Paul Withers, CBC News, Halifax.